We just got back from Scream, and this is the 5th Scream in the franchise. And fuck you, it's January. If you don't know, January is where they dump a lot of the bad films. And I must say, I much prefer the Babadook as the film references itself. Because Scream 5, actually it's titled Scream, doing the whole resequel kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Is unfortunately, in my opinion, not very good. Now, I want to qualify this. I'm not a big fan of slashers. As far as, horror films, I'm much more into the other type of horror films. But I do like the whodunit aspect of slashers, and so I liked that. But I felt like Scream got too... there are emotional scenes where I was not invested in any of the characters or don't care. Not a big fan of the Scream franchise. But because it was titled Scream, I thought, hey, okay, maybe, they'll bring us up to speed or something and we can start fresh. And I guess they attempt to do that, but I just don't care about any of the characters. And when you don't care about the characters, you don't care about them dying. You don't care, essentially who the killer is. Now you're trying to make your predictions. This film does kind of keep you predicting a little bit. But even in that aspect, it's disappointing because, the promotional materials, the killer is on this poster. And yes, the killer is on the poster. And it's just a little bit of a letdown. And honestly, if I did look at it from a fan of the Scream franchise, I felt like they did some of these characters dirty. They just kind of dragged them back to put them in a worse spot, and don't like that. And so, and it had a lot of meta stuff in it that I think that the film is making commentary on how other horror films do things and how... It's always been a part of the Scream franchise, right? The rules of Scream. Don't answer the phone. Never go alone. All these things. And even though it's trying to be smart and the characters know that they're in a slasher film, they're still making the same stupid mistakes where you're like, oh, God damn it. You're trying to rise above and you're still making those mistakes. Right, yeah.
That's the purpose, Joe.
I know, but I didn't like it very much. What did you guys think of Scream 5?
As of January, this is not the worst one I've seen. It makes itself very self-aware of what it's... Like, it kind of turns into a comedy. That's what it is. Kind of, right? It's like a horror comedy.
No, I don't think it's supposed to be a comedy, Joe.
Because it kind of self-references a lot. Like
just because it's meta doesn't necessarily mean it's a parody or a comedy.
Well,
some of the stuff they get into the end.
Yeah, I kind of took it as that. It's like,
you mean like the kind of fan fiction-y stuff?
Yeah, like that stuff. I thought it was just kind of like they were
I thought these characters were so fucking ridiculous towards the end that it almost.
That's what I thought. I was like, okay, well, this is just a cheap little campy thing. I do like slasher films, but
you do.
Yeah, but I do not like Scream. That was never a big fan of Scream.
Yeah.
Like, I like
Ghostface Killer. I was like, man, he's not even a fucking badass. It's the problem is he's like, even this film says the problem is he's not a Michael Myers. It's like a guy that returns.
I like Michael Myers.
What the fuck
Friday
is in the
13th,
water in Woodsboro or whatever this fucking town is? Something is in the goddamn water because the only way these Scream films work is if you have twisted fucking people who want to copycat the original Ghostface. This town is fucked. For this to happen 5 times in a fucking row, just no. Fuck this town and fuck this stupid plot
A couple of them weren't in the town, though, I think, right? They just... Because they go to college or something somewhere else, and it follows them.
Like that. I don't remember.
So yes and no. Yeah. You're right.
But it kind of makes itself self-aware because it's like, oh, these movies suck because you're doing disservice to the original.
Yeah.
And what
and
you
then
need.
This does a disservice
like,
to the original.
I was in 4chan and Reddit. We were like bashing on the first movies, like, how dare you?
The Ryan Johnson jokes in there.
Yeah. That's why I thought it was like kind of like a comedy horror.
It kind of it's self-aware.
Yes.
Yeah, this exceeded my expectations because my expectations were
Very
January slasher movie. I thought it was going to be absolute garbage.
Holmes and Watson kind of shit.
Yeah, that level of bad. This one I don't think was awful. I think that there were some solid elements. The thing is, The first time they started referencing some of the self-referencing of the previous movies, the meta stuff, I think it was really good up to a certain point, and then they just kept going with it.
They went off the deep end.
And so the issue is, I like the meta stuff. I like them referencing. It's part of the Scream's, DNA where they talk about characters in scary movies and how they act and how it's kind of silly and how when we're talking here we make irrational decisions, but when you've been stabbed, like logic goes out the window. I think the issue is they just ran with it and it overstayed its welcome by an hour and a half because this movie felt long.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And so one of the issues that I had is towards the end of the movie, it's still the same as it was in the beginning. So I think the tone is fine. It's just I got tired of. It's like I get it. This is meta stuff, and then new characters coming out of nowhere, and so it's solid. I mean, it's pretty good. Pretty good. January movie. This is a January 7, maybe a January 8 for January. But January's on a different scale, where average is 2.
I'm not putting January on different scales. January movies are movies. They just get dumped in January. So wait, you gave it a ranking already?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was just joking about January scale.
Yeah. January movies are terrible.
Yeah.
So did the film keep you guessing?
These are not, so they by definition are whodunit movies, but they're not smart whodunit movies because there's never an opportunity for you to figure out who did it. It's just random shit, and then they reveal, and you're supposed to go, you could like point to someone and go, I guess it's them, but not based on evidence or clues that they're leaving or anything like that. So yes, it's technically a whodunit movie, but it doesn't fucking matter because you can't.
They could have gone in fact, they could have gone in any direction anytime they want with any of the characters because they all have motive, they all have suspicions. They do things like, okay, this person has a bruise. Is that bruise a part of the thing, or is it just whatever that person explains it away as? And so it's difficult to see coming. However, I did sort of predict it. It's like the character that kind of. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to spoil anything. All I'm going to say is that Scream 5 references itself all the time, and it was already doing that from the Stab series because you got the Stab movies in the Scream franchise, which is an integral part of it, right? And this turns into it's fucking fan fiction. It's Scream fan fiction, the film. And even with it being smart and clever about your rules and horror movies, all these characters are making the dumbest decisions right before they get killed. Now, that might also be part of it. I mean, maybe that's intentional on the writer's part, James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, to do that. But it's just annoying to me. And in every scene where it was supposed to be emotionally resonant, I was rolling my eyes. So there's a scene between Sam, who is the daughter of the original killer, and she has a sister.
Spoiler?
No, not spoiler. I guess it's a spoiler, but was that not in the trailer?
No. Because they're not supposed to know that.
Nah, I mean, that is revealed in the first 5 minutes. Okay, well, I'll bleep it out. I'll just bleep that out for people that give a shit. But honestly, it's not something you need to run out and go and see. I mean, it was dumped in January for a fucking reason, and you can wait on this one. If you're a fan of Scream, I think you'll be disappointed with how some characters end up. If you're not a fan of Scream, you won't care, like I. So it's not something that you need to run out and see. Maybe when it's on Netflix, and you can. Now, granted, it's probably better than some of the worst sequels, like 3, maybe 4 was not very good.
What is the other one, Shrek or Shriek? It's terrible.
Shit,
Shrek?
I don't fucking know. What is that one?
It's a spoof. Don't ever watch it. It's bad.
Is that what
about Scary Movie?
Doofy?
I like Scary Movie.
Doofy?
Yes. Officer Doofy. I think that's the one where they're Carmen.
Well, Officer Dewey in here turns into Officer Doofy, unfortunately. Anyway, and that was the point of the film. So, I don't know. These things are really, relatively cheap to make, and they make money. So that's why they keep making them. I hope there's not going to be a Scream 6. Campbell and the film's directors have expressed interest in making future films in the series. Whether they get it or not, it's probably going to be based on how well this does.
They make money.
Yeah. So, but I don't care about the universe, don't care about the characters. Nothing in here was particularly clever. In fact, it worked out to be a little more cringy than anything else. The final reveal and the motivations of the character, the killers. I'm like, God,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? This is like crossing it way into meta, and it's like, no, I don't buy it. Anyway, so that's gonna be it for us. So they were playing on that. No, I can't talk about that. For
Yeah,
this
we
first
can't.
one.
There's a
Okay.
lot we
So,
can't
anyways,
talk
that let's go ahead and give some final verdicts then, and we'll go into spoilers for those who do not care like us.
Okay, well, I kind of interpreted it different than you did. I knew coming into this was going to be a terrible movie, but it was fine. But as Alex said,
I didn't want to watch
runtime-
it going into it. Unfortunately, the film
I
had
didn't wanna
a
watch
little
it
bit
either,
of a
but-
hill to climb for me.
So yeah,
And it
like
never
it was
climbed
better
that
than
hill.
I expected, but it's still a January movie. And Alex hit was saying, it is a little bit too long. If they would have like cut some of it, I think it would have been a little bit better. But I'm at an average movie. I'm gonna give this a 5
Okay.
because I don't know. It's a stupid slasher, and it's like just being goofy. I was like, if you're gonna be stupid, I guess be stupid. So it's a 5.
5. I agree with that. I think this is an average movie. I think it's going to satisfy people who want a slasher if you want that whole everyone
Yeah.
kind of acting dumb kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me, they were so close to like hitting that balance right where the meta jokes and referencing toxic fan bases and all those things were going to
Yep.
be close. The issue is once they started on there, they just beat you over the head. It's like, oh, this is clever,
too
and then they
much.
did
I
it
don't
again
think
just
it's
to make
clever.
sure that you get it, and then it's like get it, and then they're hitting you over the head with it nonstop, and in the final 15 minutes, it's unrelenting, and it kind of ruined a lot of the things that they had built up for me. And so ultimately, like there were some good parts, there were some bad parts, so it kind of finishes right in the middle. 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting favorable reviews from critics, and they're believing that it's maintaining a meta edge, surprisingly effective, and to me, none of that's true. So it's just my personal preference. Now, granted, I'm not a huge fan of Scream, not a huge fan of slashers. You have to do something interesting to me, and in the third act, they do what they think is clever and interesting, being super meta. But I thought it was cringy and stupid, and I didn't care. So that's basically Scream for me. If you're not already a fan of the franchise, you could definitely probably skip this one. I am going and then plus we're here at Scream 5. And we're running out of ideas, Scream fan fiction now. So I'm going to go. I can see 5. I can see average. Is it a below average film? Well, it's directed competently, but it's. I was gonna go with a 4 out of 10, but I will end up at a 5 with you guys because it's an average film. It's not necessarily bad, and I can see that, but it's just it wasn't for me. All right, so
Yeah.
let's jump into the spoilers section. Thank you guys for watching. If you're a big fan of slashers and the Scream franchise, tell us what you thought made the film really good or bad. Okay, so we'll see you in the spoilers section. Welcome to the spoiler section. So what are we talking about when we keep referencing that the film is very meta?
Well, I mean, in the original Scream franchise, the kids, the dumb kids, are constantly watching movies, and they have rules on how to survive these movies. And the killers themselves kind of are playing off, watching scary movies, and they kind of want to emulate the things that they've seen.
Yep.
Now, the issue with that is it was crazy clever the first time that they did it. I really liked the first Scream. I thought it was really good. And then I stopped caring after that. And this one is just kind of trying to rehash that. It even references that it's going to rehash the first one, bring it, and they even tell you what it was like in the writer room. It's like, no, we need to anchor the people with the original characters, establish a new
And the
cast.
fourth one sucked.
And then
The
always
eighth one, he had a chainsaw
and a
went off the
flamethrower,
rails.
and they make Ryan Johnson jokes in there talking about how he was the one that directed the last one that everybody hated, and it was just like, okay, that's kind of.
You have to go back to the original.
And then they just kept those scenes just never ended. They just kept going, and where it was clever the first time when they did in the first movie, this time they went on, and so it's someone is killing the people who are involved with the original murders. no matter how loosely based it is.
Descendants and daughters and sons.
Yeah, the checkout boy at the grocery store once bagged the killer's groceries, so he's got to
Who
die.
was the uncle of the person
the
that bagged the
Siamese
groceries.
half sister of the fireman's daughter that put out the fire had to do, and then we're getting weird things, and then they do this stupid fucking supernatural thing that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie, offers nothing here, and I don't fucking get it. She sees the ghost of the first killer throughout the whole movie and tells her to do shit.
So this is what I bleeped out because just like, should we do spoilers? So the main character Sam is the daughter of the original killer, and
the secret daughter.
I don't really, the secret daughter. It's revealed in this film, and then she sees visions of her dead dad, who's a serial killer, who's helping her the whole time, and by the end of the film is a good guy that helps her stab the fuck out of somebody. It's like. You're going to need to resolve those issues there, I guess, unless it's more of a positive subconscious of your father and the positive aspects of your serial killer father. I don't fucking know. They dedicate it to Wes Craven, who obviously directed 1 through 4. And I don't know, it's a little too meta because what the killers end up being is the killer was the boyfriend, and one of the chicks who's in the small friend circle, because it's always like, okay, who's the killer amongst the friend circle? And I couldn't really quite get it. I thought maybe the athlete was the one who's doing it because it's like, well, this is the only person who has the strength to overpower some of the characters that you see in the film and some of the male characters that die, and you always wonder if in horrors, it's like, is the size right? Because later on,
that's exactly what I was thinking. But
girl is much shorter.
You throw that out.
See, that's fucked. I don't like that shit. You know what I mean?
That's slashers.
That's what Alex was saying. Like you could try to predict, but you can't.
It's impossible.
The film cheats. Even though it says it's not going to cheat.
A 75-pound girl all of a sudden is over 6 feet tall, and she's lifting David Arquette's heavy ass up off the ground.
Like
now, did I get this right? Because later on in the film, she explains, I was the one to fucking gut Dewey. And it's like, no, you weren't, because you do not have that kind of strength. You were also just finished getting shot 3 times. And I'm like, did they show a bulletproof vest? Yes, they did. But like, when you get shot at that fucking close range, you are hurting. You'll make noises and you won't press your fucking voice changer. That little girl is fucked, right? So it turns out to be this little girl who is living in the original house.
She became obsessed.
So and then they do Dewey dirty and they turn him into Doofy because he's smart about everything. And it's like, number one, for Christ's sake, as soon as this thing happens and people in Woodrow, you get a weapon, get something. They never fucking do that anyway. But Dewey has a weapon because he's the previous sheriff, and he goes along with them. And he actually shoots the Ghostface killer when the killer is attacking the youngest daughter. And you think it's over, and then he's like, oh, well, I got to go back and shoot him in the head because they always get up. And it's like, well, you're fucking dead.
You can shoot him from there.
You can shoot him from there.
You have to. The bullets miss, so you have to get really close.
It's just a dumb way to die, especially considering how many fucking times Dewey survives after getting fucking stabbed and murdered.
9 times.
He says it's 9 times, but I think it was a little less than that, but maybe more. Fuck if I remember all the goddamn films. And I was like, really? And they just do this thing where they take away his happy ending because he got to be with Gail in one of the previous films. I forget exactly which one, 3 or 4. You kind of get a happy ending. But in this one, they're estranged, they're divorced, and he, for no fucking reason other than, hey, in real life, these two were together and they got married and now they're exes, so maybe they're playing off of that. I don't know. But he gets a really bad ending. So Scream 5 basically fucks over Dewey. And then you have Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell returning. And to the film's credit, and I should have put this in the review, the new actors do most of the heavy lifting here. And honestly, they're all right.
Yeah,
they're
like
pretty
Sam.
good for these random.
Sam was pretty good.
Yeah, these new characters. So I wanted to give some credit for that. Maybe that's why I'm at a 5 instead of a 4, because the performances were fine. But yeah, so Neve and Courtney Cox, they don't really have much to do in the film. They just kind of show up towards the end, and then they've got this badass
They're
moment.
just there to sell tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sell tickets and get the legacy characters back, because the whole thing is the boyfriend and this crazy chick that lives in the house were on 4chan and fucking Reddit and forums over the Stab films, and the Stab 8 was so bad that they're pissed off that they want to redo Stab, but they don't bother filming anything or do it. But because they know life will imitate or art will imitate life,
because they're gonna write the story.
Because somebody's gonna write the story.
Yep.
It's so stupid. So people in this universe are so fucking batshit crazy in this city that they keep fucking killing, and it doesn't make any sense.
Because I thought it was like, all right, it's gonna get crazy. I thought that girl was Matthew Lillard's daughter or something from the original. It's like, okay, we have a face-off between both killers' daughters or something. I think
you can only have so many secret daughters and sons because
this movie was fucking crazy. It's like, okay, well. Sure, I'll believe it at this point. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
The issue with this one that I had is I'm sitting here and I've seen, I think, 1, 2, and 3, and I can't. And I've also seen all the scary movies and all the spoofs, and so like something will happen. It's like, wait a minute, haven't they done this before, or was that in the spoof of the spoof?
That's what I was thinking.
Or what? Like, so who's the secret daughter who is like? Wait, didn't they do Secret Kids? They did. They did do Secret Kids in one of the
I
screen.
don't fucking
and then
know,
someone was cheating, and then it's like this whole thing's about Secret Kids.
Do
it's
more
like,
in that, and then I thought that at one point I was like, oh, maybe it's Jenna Ortega's character, Tara Carpenter, the youngest one. And she's estranged from her sister. She's the one that keeps getting attacked.
I was like,
because
no
at
way,
some
though.
point there's a crux of it. At some point it's like they're smart. They said, we need to get the fuck out of here. Let's just get out of town and leave. So it's 3 characters. It's the boyfriend, Sam, and the young girl. And then they're like, oh, no, I don't have my inhaler. And I got to go get my inhaler. It's like, we'll go to the store. And they come up with some bullshit excuse about, oh, well, you need a prescription. It's like, dude, you can call in anything. You can call your doctor, anything. But no, they forced themselves to go back to the original house. And it was like, who said to go back? The only 2 people that were like encouraging them to go back or made it a thing was Sam and the young girl. But really, it was the guy who stole the inhaler in the first place to create that situation so that they would go back to the house and have their ending. And he's like, and so when they start killing everybody, they're just, don't ruin my ending. Stop ruining my ending.
The thing that, because there was a lot of stupid moments. One of the ones that kind of like stuck with me, I was like, okay, this is a stupid ass moment. All right, so the sheriff is like, all right, I'm gonna go pick up some sushi. You go ahead and take your shower.
Yeah.
She gets a phone call. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go kill your son. She turns turns on her sirens, runs all the way back home, doesn't get her gun from the car or anything. She's like, "Oh, my son!" And
she's just running towards the Ghostface
if you know
killer.
The killer is there, you're the sheriff.
Yes,
but again, this is the movie.
But all these characters are like, "We've been through this 5 times. I know how to do this." Dewey should be like, "This is how it's done," and they tell these characters the same thing, but they still do it. So you get no fucking credit for being clever and pointing it out when you do it the fucking same way yourself. It bothers the shit out of me. Anyways, and. Whatever.
There's another scene that kind of got me. Like, it says unknown caller, but underneath it says Sidney Prescott. I was like, how's that an unknown caller if it says Sidney Prescott?
I don't remember that fucking.
Yeah, it's on all the phones. Yeah.
I don't know. So they do the phone tracking. So eventually, the boyfriend, the jock boyfriend, dies.
But he lives.
But he lives.
At the very end, he's alive in the.
Get out of here.
Chad's alive.
No, he's not.
You can't kill the fucking Chad.
He's not alive. I don't fucking remember him being alive. I remember his sister's alive.
And then she looks over and he's in the ambulance and he goes this and she goes like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Man, I was totally checked out.
No, he's alive. It's fucking
God damn. Okay, so he thinks it's his girlfriend, doesn't want to have sex with her, don't want to go upstairs because they're all in a public area, and if they go, everybody's having individual scenes where they act like the killer because they're offended that you think I'm the killer and all this other stuff.
This guy might be the
high school teenager would have gone upstairs with someone in the Ghostface mask to have sex with them.
He would have gone upstairs to have sex, but okay, so he's so scared of dying that instead of when he stabbed, instead of running right back where he came from, which was this big public party where he's so concerned about being in public, instead he goes the opposite fucking way to fucking get killed.
I like the
He
Colonel
has
Mustard
to-
joke, though. That was super funny. He walks outside with the candlestick, and someone from the party goes, "Hey, good luck, Colonel Mustard." And I was like, "Yeah."
He does hit
That-
Ghostface
it's like
because his
stupid shit like
sister
that.
is
It's
the
like,
expert.
okay.
Yes, every once in a while, the sister
Yeah.
is the expert. Take a weapon with you. It didn't fucking matter because he's an idiot.
not really
And his girlfriend, who completely disappeared. What a fucking bitch. You're not supposed to leave, but you leave because she was pissed off that her boyfriend accused her, and there he got him almost killed. And then she comes in. And she gets killed herself because that's when we get the reveal of the crazy friend who lives in the house. Amber, who's
Fucking
she
Amber.
shoots her. The
Yeah,
reason why I
and-
know you're not the killer is because I'm the killer, and shoots her in the head.
Well, yeah, she's the expert because her uncle is James Kennedy from the original.
Yeah.
That too.
The twins' uncle is
oh.
Jamie
Yeah.
Kennedy.
So she has to be the expert, like her uncle.
Oh, because that's
The descendants of the next generation
And it
of
has
the
the
next
same
generation.
scene of a scene.
yeah. We were watching the scenes within the
Scene
scenes
within
while
the scene.
watching
And
the
Dewey
scene.
had to get stabbed. And no, we watched the stab within the screen. Stab
So
within
turn
the
around,
screen.
you
Within
idiot!
the
Why don't you
stab.
turn around? And you're doing the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, clever-ish.
Well, I also like that he goes for the wind up. He lifts up the knife like this, so we can watch him do it. It's like this is the stupidest thing ever. It's just
It's no.
Well, there's a
You
lot
need,
of
I have
those
to
you
go,
things.
need the anticipation. Oh, what's going
So
to happen?
once they reveal, they say the reason why we're doing this, and we managed to get both characters back, Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell back.
Prescott.
The very first thing that happens is the psycho bitch comes outside. And she acts like she's shot. And then she's like, "What do you think?" "Yeah, no, I don't
This is a
buy
trap.
it." And so there she's like, "Fuck it," and she shoots and almost kills Gail Winters. But I guess they were like, "Nah, let's just fuck over Dewey. Let's not kill Gail. Let's just kill Dewey. Fuck Dewey."
yeah, it's got to be Dewey.
Why?
Sydney's got a gun, and she's like, "I'm Sydney Prescott. Of course I fucking got a gun." She's the worst shot in the history of movie shooting.
Yeah.
She's like, there's this girl who shoots her friend and is standing there still, and she misses by 3 feet in either direction, above and to the left. It's like, this is
Yeah.
fucking funny.
And not only that, but she goes in the house and starts shooting every single door as if all the killers are right in front of the door, I guess. Ends up hitting the boyfriend character who's hiding in a closet. He's like, "The reason why I'm not coming out is because you're fucking shooting everywhere." But it turns out it was also him as well. So they have a battle between the females. You got to fucking, everybody's fighting, and she's like, "Yeah, your Dewey was a bitch," and it pisses off Gail, and Gail gets all pissed off. She's like, "Do you want to do the, Sydney's like, "Do you want to do the honors?" And she's like, "Yeah." So then she like shoots her a bunch of times to where she falls back on the stove, and the stove lights her entire body on fire.
She's covered in hand sanitizer.
Oh, that's right. That's why she had that. Forget. She's like, "Oh my God, it's hand sanitizer." Did you hear that, audience? I ran.
I'm covered in flammable
I'm covered in
goo.
flammable liquid. I hope you don't push me into the stove later
That
on.
I just turned on.
On accident,
Whoa.
perfectly. So then she's in flames and then goes down. And then, for no fucking reason, these two ladies stay in the kitchen. It's as if their characters freeze after they kill their killer.
That's
and then
slashers.
another scene is happening
Those are
upstairs
slashers.
where Sam is having her fight with her boyfriend and all this other stuff. And they're fighting on the stairs and to go down the stairs and all this other bullshit just so that Sam can be the one that to see her dead father, and her dead father, the serial killer, is like, "Yeah, slash that motherfucker up." And then he shows her where a knife is, and then she gets the knife. And she's like, surprised, and she stabs him. And then she's like stabbing him over and over and over. And then finally, the two ladies come in, and I was like, "Yeah, we stayed in there so that you could do your thing." Even though, and then plus the motherfucker is slowly stalking her. He sees her blood trails. She tricks him to go into a specific spot. But he hears gunshots downstairs of his crazy psycho girlfriend getting fucking killed. Not only shots, but also screaming her head off from being fucking
Burned
lit on
alive.
fire. And he has no reaction. He is just laser focused. And I was like, okay. Anyways, so then he dies.
But the girl wasn't actually dead because the two
And
veterans.
then they finally come back. Yeah,
because the veterans forget that you actually have to shoot them in the face because they only shot her
That's
in the
what
stomach.
got Dewey killed.
And then she lit herself on fire, and then
So she come back to shoot the dude, shoots the boyfriend in the head a few more times.
yeah, and
But then that's when that.
and then Tara comes. The hidden sister all along had a gun. She found a gun and she shoots Amber in the face.
Because Amber wasn't really dead. She was
Barbecuing.
faking
She
that
was just
she
mostly
was,
barbecued.
Mostly barbecued, and then she
Yeah.
dies. And it's like, oh, it was so exhausting. So I don't really know.
Turning into Freddy
Richie
Cougar.
Richie is the boyfriend's name, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so so then I go back and I think, did this make sense? Richie is watching YouTube videos about Stab 8 and pretending like he's never seen it before, but he does that while he's alone, right? Mm-hmm. So just what it did.
He also is really
This
trying
isn't-
to talk them out of going to that party. Can you imagine? He's like, "No, we don't want to go to the murder house." And if the girls are like, "Oh, you're right,"
yeah, we
and he's
shouldn't
like,
do that. He's
"Fuck, I shouldn't have been so
fuck."
persuasive."
Yeah, so I don't know. Like
Yeah,
Alex
it's just a
saying,
random-
Oh, yeah.
It's kind
It's
of
a
hard to
slasher.
predict. Anyways, so that is our extended review discussion for Scream 5. You don't need to see it right away. Unless you're a fan of
Yeah,
Scream, then you'll
just
probably
wait.
like it, minus the Dewey death. But other than that, it's average. You can wait on it. All right, thank y'all guys so much for watching. I don't think there's really any worthwhile movies in January. Tell us if you found a worthwhile movie this January. Mobius got kicked out of January
That
all
may
the
be a
way
good
into
thing.
April.
I don't know.
That could be a good thing, though.
No,
watched-
because that is a January
Well, they
film that they
watched it
just want to
again.
make
They're
more
like,
money on.
"No, this is
It's not
actually
like they're
pretty
doing
good."
refilm or reshoots.
But
they're
they made
just
$1
moving it to make
billion
money.
on Spider-Man, and they're like, maybe our
Sony, I have no confidence.
no,
in
yeah,
me
oh yeah,
neither.
no.
Anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.